Okay, hi. So I'm playing Overwatch. As you can see by the caption of the title of the video, is that I'm not talking about Overwatch. I just need something to play in the background because usually when I'm playing something, I can easily get my thoughts across, especially when it comes to opinions and matters, especially stuff I care about. As you can see by the title of this video, I'm pretty sure it's going to be called The Future of Pokemon or ROM Hacks of the Future of Pokemon, something along those lines. So I currently am, I'm not doing a voiceover after the fact I've played this. I am genuinely playing this while I record, while I edit, not while I edit, sorry, while I record the voiceover. So I will be reacting to this game while I'm playing. Expect that. I think this is a more interesting way for me to talk about this topic, rather than just me putting up a bunch of photos. And mainly that was the problem, and that's why I decided to play Overwatch, because I believed I would not have it would not look good if all I did was put up a bunch of different photos and videos. I was initially going to play Pokemon, but my Switch decided to be a pain in the ass and not to quite work properly today, but that's okay. We're already losing this match. Okay, so as I was saying, we are now 2 minutes into the video and I'm now getting to the point. Pokemon is something well and truly dear to me. It has been in my life for years. I remember playing it when I think I first played it when I was 6 or 7. And even then I had seen it on TV beforehand. It's been around my entire life. And that's the funny thing, is that at the moment it's still as popular as ever. But in terms of it, with its fans and hardcore fans and fans that have been with it for years, are not dwindling. They are still there because we all have nostalgia for Pokemon, and there is heaps of ways for us to interact with the Pokemon medium rather than just the games they're putting out. And that's a very important topic, and that's what I want to talk about, is the fact that Game Freak are putting out games now in a very different style and way than how most of us did growing up. And you have two different versions of games at the moment, because you have the Let's Go games, which no one knows if they're even going to continue doing them. It was massively popular, mainly because it was the first Pokemon games on the Switch, so they were going to be popular. The Switch is a very good, very popular console. Anything on there is going to sell well, it seems. At least anything done well is going to sell well. And obviously Pokemon games are going to sell great on Switch, and that's the problem, is that if they sell well and people still enjoyed them, they weren't horrible games. People complain, and even Hamish himself, on the channel, he says they weren't like the true Pokemon experience. And no, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee were not the true Pokemon experience. But they gave a Pokemon experience, and that's what is important. Playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is still a Pokemon experience, but not the Pokemon experience. And I feel like a lot of people have a different definition for the Pokemon experience. If you were to ask me what the Pokemon experience was, I would say you play Platinum, or you play Heart Gold or Soul Silver, But if I spoke to someone that I work with about the definitive Pokemon experience, they would say go play Gold and Silver. Just because that's what they grew up on, and that's how it is. I'm sure if I asked my brother which Pokemon game he would suggest playing, he would say X and Y, or Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, Aurus. Because that's what he grew up on. And that's how things are. I'm sure 10 years down the line, you ask someone else, you ask a kid that grew up playing Sword and Shield and the inevitable Diamond and Pearl remakes, they will say those are the definitive gaming experience, Pokemon gaming experience. Holy crap, 5 minutes in. This is going to be a long video, but it's okay. what I'm trying to say, what I'm gonna get at, and we're getting there slowly, is that I believe ROM hacks are I'm gonna start off with this, and then we're gonna get there, right? ROM hacks are a good way to keep this Pokemon experience alive, especially for those that grew up with the old stuff, and lets them add to the experience with new stuff. So we'll come back to that in one moment. Let me just finish these other thoughts I have. So I think I watched a video not too long ago by, I believe it was Birdkeeper Toby, and he spoke about Pokemon or Game Freak, the Pokemon company. They have a goal. Well, they have, I can't even think of the word that I'm trying to think of. They need to preserve Pokemon and stop dwindling it down. And right now they have a very solid way of doing that. Right now they have the Let's Go games, which is a very, very traditional style of Pokemon. There's no natures. I believe the special physical split is still there. I'm 100% sure the physical special split is still there. But the physical special split was a good addition to Pokemon. Anyway, there's no natures, and it kind of brings back to no breeding, or anything like that. And it brings back to a traditional Pokemon experience a lot of what I said a lot just then. It had a lot of features that many of its fan base grew up with and enjoyed about it. And granted, that's not why they got Pikachu and Eevee. The people that are really into the competitive side now, I'm sure, didn't just play those games back in the day. They evolved since then. As Pokemon would want, they evolved since then. And that's okay. So yeah, they can keep remaking Pokemon games with the Let's Go, or not even remaking them, they can keep just making games with this Let's Go formula and keep it out that way. This is all in the Birdkeeper Toby video. I'm pretty sure it's Birdkeeper Toby. I will try and find it and link it in the description. If it was not Birdkeeper Toby, well, maybe it'll be in the description. If it was Birdkeeper Toby, I probably will still link it in the description. Who knows? We'll find out. Anyway, they were saying that they have this perfect route with it going between these Let's Go games and the traditional Pokemon games, because right now we have those Let's Go games, and then we got Sword and Shield, which is a much more, which I thought was me, damn, which was a much more generic Pokemon experience. It wasn't anything traditional. It's just what we're used to, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem with the new traditional games is the fact that they make it very easy, and a lot of people hate how easy it is now. And Birdkeeper Toby went on to talk about how it would be nice to see them now. It'd be nice to see Game Freak / Pokemon Company, Nintendo. It'd be nice to see them now have the more easy, the easier experience, have that lean heavily on the Let's Go games, and have those people that play the Let's Go games are more, have them relearn the games and get to the point by having them a much easier experience as they were. Meanwhile, you can have the traditional, Sword and Shield and whatever comes afterwards, have them a more traditional Pokemon game. Did I say traditional? Oh, what's the word? I don't know. Generic. It's a more generic Pokemon game, and have that experience there with it, and have it hard, have it a difficult game like we used to, like we grew up with, having some good bloody post game content that is DLC or not DLC. It's up to them. However, I think that is a very good way of looking at things. I love the Birdkeeper Toby said things out that way. Side note, I'm going to play Sigma, but I don't really play Sigma, so we're going to see how that goes. Yeah, so I think that's a great way. I think it would be fantastic for Game Freak / Pokemon Company, Nintendo, anyone who's in charge of that, to look at that and refine what they're doing now moving forward. Now, as I said, I am a huge Pokemon fan. This Pokemon has played a great deal in my life. But even before I was a fan, you know, it was great. And I believe, how I phrase, ROM hacks are really cool. Obviously, they're not, you know, we don't pay for them or anything. But I believe that most people complaining, as much as I agree with Bokeeper Toby's video, and I understand with a lot of people wanting a Pokemon experience, a legal Pokemon experience, or whatever you want to call it, something governed by Nintendo themselves. God dang. There we go. Cool. But, you know, I understand those people are... But I believe ROM hacks could be the future of how most people receive and play Pokemon games. There are plenty out there. Plenty of either remakes of old games, remakes of new games. You know, they're all on a GBA emulator. I have heaps. I play them on my phone. You know, that's what I do. They're a lot of fun. I'm playing through one at the moment. I'm playing through Pokemon Gaia at the moment. I'm enjoying that a lot, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I. No, maybe not. I'm sorry. I was gonna say more than I enjoyed Sword and Shield, but that's a lie. I really enjoyed Sword and Shield. I'm excited for the DLC as well. Just so we're clear, like this is me. I'm a huge fan. I'm excited for the games. I'm excited for what's coming forward. I'm really hoping and excited for Generation or Sinnoh remakes, you know, because that's what I'm excited for. But at the same time, you have to give a pat on the back to the ROM hack community because they do a good job preserving games and making them accessible for a lot of people that, you know, not everyone wants to spend $400 on a Switch. And we have 2 games on that console, one of which like people are criticizing for being, or both of which people are criticizing for being too easy. With, you know, not a whole lot of ways to make it harder. And the reality of the situation is just that recently, Pokemon, not even really recently, Pokemon is a children's game. That is why that's why they made it easy or easier, because that's how Nintendo wants a lot of their products. You know, they want them to be easier for and accessible for just about everyone. And that's the thing with Nintendo, is that they want their games accessible, where I feel like when I was 7 years old and I was playing Pokemon Diamond for the first time, it was hard. It was difficult. I had such a hard time because I was still learning. Which is also maybe the problem, is that all of us complaining now, we're not learning anymore. We know the controls, we know how to deal with stuff, so it's difficult coming and playing from a new perspective, and whether they'd find that easy or hard. And that's the hardest thing to test out, really, is whether it's hard because we know how to play, or whether it's hard because whether it's easy because we know how to play, or whether it's easy because of other reasons. You know, is it easy just because that's how the game is? And honestly, we all know the answer is that's just how the game is. The game is easy. Sword and Shield were easy games. They did not have much of a challenge until like right at the very end. With Leon was difficult, but he's not the hardest. I felt like Cynthia is a harder champion to fight. You know, she starts with a Pokemon that has no weaknesses. She starts the fight with Spiritomb. Spiritomb has no weaknesses. Maybe it has Fairy now. I'm not 100% sure. I'm still like unsure on the whole Fairy types. Like, I don't have them memorized, their weaknesses, or I just know they're strong against Dragon, but that's it. What am I saying? Yeah, you know, like those Sword and Shield they were hard. They were easy up until about the end. And that bell tower, apparently it's meant to be. I haven't touched it at all, but apparently it was more difficult than the rest of the game. And the fact that I haven't touched it is kind of hard for me to comment on. So yeah. Anyway, ROM hacks are really good for what the Pokemon community wants, right? Is that you can get certain ROM hacks that have better, they have more of a challenge, they have a wider range of Pokemon, so you're not just getting Generation 3 or Generation 1 Pokemon, you know, you're getting all of them. Pokemon Gaia has up to Generation 5, I think. 5 or 6. Sorry, I'm not 100% sure on that one. I think it's 5. I think it... Let's just say 5. 5 or 6. Right? And I'm having a lot of fun. And I can't say that when the DLC comes out for Sword and Shield, that after playing so many ROM hacks in the time in between, am I still going to be having fun? Right? And that's what Game Freak has been missing out on for a little bit now, is that... Actually, I shouldn't say that. The games are still fun, and that's actually sort of what the fan base is kind of missing, is that they're not enjoying it because they're not as difficult. But we still have difficult stuff out there for Pokemon. It would be nice. I love that Generation 8 now you can have multiple save files. And that is fantastic. I hate that I cannot have multiple save files on my older games. It is such a pain in the ass. Wow, I have spent 17 minutes not really talking about the future of Pokemon. I guess I just sort of recapped Boki Batobi's video, but that's not really what I wanted to do. I just really want to talk about, I emphasize that the Pokemon community acts like there is nothing out there for them, but when so many people play the ROM hacks, like Platinum, Pokemon Glazed, Pokemon, what else have I been playing? There's like, you know, remakes of Generation 4, 5, like, you know, DS games on a Game Boy emulator. And when a DS emulator becomes more accessible for a lot of people, like there already are DS ROM hacks, it's just more of a fact that they're not that accessible for everyone. Because a lot of people play ROM hacks on their phone. And I understand that the new generation of players don't like the old stuff. It doesn't look good. It looks good to us because we grew up on that, you know. And I noticed that when I showed my brother, I said I was showing him an emulator that I use, and I was showing him that I don't have, you know, just the base games. I have these ROM hacks, and he was like, "Yeah, but it looks so old. Why would you play that?" And I was like, that's how I grew up with them. And to me, it looks fine, you know, like, obviously nostalgia goggles are on, but like, it's still playable. They don't look horrible. I don't need 3D models in my Pokemon. I guess I feel that way because even like Gen 4 and Gen 5 had sprites still. It wasn't until Gen 6, and I sort of fell out at Gen 6, but jumped back in Gen 7. So like, the sprites for me have always been the definitive Pokemon to me, until obviously now, recently, I'm getting back into it. And yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the new generation of Pokemon players are gonna be jumping in on traditional hardware. They're gonna be jumping in. They're gonna be playing on Switches, maybe a 3DS, and you know, whatever's afterwards from this point onwards. That's how they're gonna be playing. We have to accept that, and that's how, you know, the games being published on that console, for a majority of them, are gonna be accessible for everyone. And the people will need to understand that Pokemon is huge, it is successful, it's gonna be tailor-made to where the market is. And when we were younger, see, that's always gonna be the argument, is that when we were younger, there were hard games. You know, nothing quite like fighting Brock in Pokemon Yellow and all you've got is your Pikachu and like your Pidgeys and whatnot. It's not like before when you had your bloody Bulbasaur, your Squirtle. You know, now by the second gym you've got a full party of 6 already picked out because they've gifted you 10. You know, that's not how things work anymore. And whoop. Yeah. Will I edit this down so it makes more cohesive sense? Probably not. Am I gonna re-listen to this and hate that I've said every word of this? Probably. Do I think I've gotten my point across? Not exactly. But I feel like the message is there, is that Pokemon now has this decision, as again, that reinstating what Bookkeeper Toby said, is that they have this decision with making their games harder and appealing to their audience, and having the split between their harder games, which are their more, you know, their Let's Go games, and they can make the harder games their more traditional Pokemon experiences. But then they have to, you know, and then you'd have people. You'd be able to see people like playing those easy games and then playing the harder ones, and like using that knowledge, learning what they learnt from one and transcending that to the other. And like, that'd be so cool. But unfortunately, I don't feel like that's where things are gonna go. And that's why I'm always gonna recommend and suggest ROM hacks for people that are looking for that harder, more traditional Pokemon experience when Let's Go isn't going to give it. Or not Let's Go, you know, the company just ain't going to give it up. And that's the other thing I was going to briefly touch on, is that even the, you know, if you don't like the new games because they're difficult, but you like some of the, because they're easy, but you like some of the aspects, such as like Dynamaxing, that's pretty fucking cool, and Gigantamaxing, hell yeah. But it's like, because they're tailored with that experience, it's not like that. So like, there are ROM hacks out there that have Dynamaxing, you know, in raid caves and whatever. They have that in the game, and I think it's pretty cool. It's not something, you know, it's not, they weren't in those games to begin with. That person had to go out and add more and, you know, do that for the game. It's like when I see Mega Evolution in the GBA games. It's like the love and the care is there for people that love and care for Pokemon and want more of it. And I think it's more, I think the ROM hacks most of the time they give a better experience, because they're coming from people that want to play the game. They're coming from people that grew up playing the game. Like, they enjoy it. And that's important. I'm not saying we should stop playing Pokemon and only support the ROM hacks. I'm just saying that as we move forward with in the Pokemon community, as we move forward, playing Pokemon, buying Pokemon, consuming all its merchandise, getting the cards, all of that, we have to be mindful of the fan community that's also there before we start complaining about what... Obviously, no one's that naive that they're like, wow, the Pokemon company hates me, that's why they're making the game so easy. They hate the fans. It's like, no, they're following what they need to do in order for Pokemon to stay active and have a fan base. Unfortunately, it just means its long-time players are getting, you know, like, copping the short straw out of it all. But that's okay, because other people have felt that way, and they've made ROM hacks with harder fights. They've made ROM hacks where you don't, the level cap raises past 100, so you have a longer game. Pokemon Insurgence is so bloody good, and they added so much love and care to that game, as well as Pokemon Light Platinum. I feel like that's everyone's favorite ROM hack and everyone's first ROM hack as well. It's such an experience, and wow, everyone just saw me upvote for myself. That's cool. Anyway, we're done playing Overwatch. This video has gone on way too long, much longer than what I was expecting it to. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm a big fan of Pokemon, so don't just think I'm an outsider looking in. I've been in this community for years. I'm still in the community now. It's just moving forward, things need to change with its fan base, but I also think things need to change at Game Freak themselves. And I'm sure we will find hope. I'm sure when those Generation 4 remakes come out that we, as a community, will all be happy. We will all be like, wow, that's cool, and you know what? That's great. We're gonna love those Generation 4 remakes that come out. Yeah. Alright, I guess I would say I'd quick save it here, but that doesn't really make sense since I guess we were playing the game, but I was more just talking to you guys. Guys, if you like this, let me know. I may do some more stuff like this. I've got some other opinions, other point of views, not just about Pokemon, but maybe with Zelda, some other Nintendo properties, Sonic. I have a lot of things to say, and this is a good way to get them out. Alright, I'm going to quick save it then, and have fun. I will see